Hello, everybody. How are you? Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize. I am exactly 1 minute late. I have a sick kiddo at home. So let's note the irony. And you'll notice I forgot to get wired up, so I'm just gonna speak a little extra loud. Make sure you guys can hear me. I got a sick kiddo at home this morning. I mean, is that the quintessential business owner, businesswoman who's like trying to get stuff done and she's trying to manage her business and she's trying to manage her home and her family? So I have a sick kid at home who, fingers crossed, he makes it through this next hour without getting sick. We've already had one incident this morning. I was tending to him right before I came in live. So I do apologize for that. But talk about, like, today's topic is about, I ain't got time for that. Universe, you are funny. You're such a funny guy. So I am here and I see that we do have some people coming in. So if you are here, please say hi. Oops, please say hi in the chat box. And I'm just gonna, good morning. Oh, yes, Julie, it is sunny here too. It's so fantastic. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. Who needs to take a deep breath with me? Like, you may not have a sick kid at home, but I absolutely know, and the reason you guys are either on here live or you're gonna watch in the replay is because you know we ain't got time for this. So everybody just, whether you need to get centered or whether I'm the only one that needs to get centered, let's all take a moment to just center ourselves. For this next hour, it's you and me and us in the classroom, and we're gonna learn and we're gonna do some stuff. And we're gonna help you get back some of your time. This is an area I'm constantly working on myself. I'm always wanting to share with you what I learn. That's why I do all of these. Miss Julie, since you're here, can you hear me okay? Since I did not get wired up with my microphone beforehand because I was tending to I got a pukey kid, guys. I got a pukey kid. That's the nature of having elementary and middle schoolers in your house, right? So I did not get that. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Miss Julie. So today's masterclass is 3 secrets to losing weight without sacrificing your time. Your time is precious. Your time is important. I want to make sure that we're getting out of here in an hour, okay? So that I teach you what I had to teach you. We have enough time for any answers or questions. I did notice that there were, hit me with it, Lana, that's right. All right, so I know there's a few others of you here in the classroom. The only bummer is I can't see the bottom, while also the chat. So if you are here, please say hey. All right, so questions go in the box at the right. So as I'm talking, if you have questions, this is interactive. I'll be asking you guys for your struggles and your ideas. So please, excuse me. By all means, use that right now. Go ahead and introduce yourself, your name, where you're watching from, and what your business is, and how, like, this is the larger aspect of businesswomen losing weight is businesswomen also supporting one another and supporting each other's businesses. Like, that's a side effect, guys. Totally amazing how I've already been able to make some connections between some people who are looking for something over here and someone else in the community offered that. So fantastic. So ask me questions as we go. I'm sharing the 3 secrets to getting back more time. Yet holder of hope. That's business card worthy right there. Oh, me? Nothing. I'm just a holder of hope. That's all. Just nothing short of fabulosity. That's all, right? All right. So I did trim this presentation way back because after last week, I saw that we were running out of time and I kind of rushed the end. So I really dialed back what I was going to present today. There's always more information that can be shared, and we'll get to that towards the end of how you can always get more information already. So these are the 3 secrets that I teach my coaching clients. Always understand when I'm giving you free training, I'm giving you everything I got from my coaching clients. Always. I understand that not everybody can work with me one-on-one, but I still want to make sure that you are getting results by hanging out with me, that you can make a life change just by being in the same space with the rest of us. Otherwise, why are we here, right? Because it's all about time. We ain't got time for webinars that promise 3 secrets that just tell you the problem and none of the solutions. We ain't got time for that. I know your problem. There ain't enough time. Absolutely. All right. So who am I? Those of you that don't know me, those of you that are new to me, my name is Amy Latta, and I'm a certified life coach, certified weight coach, certified personal trainer, and I would be certified in nutrition if I had taken the test. So a nutrition aficionado is probably the best that I could call that. But I'm certified through the Life Coach School, and I'm also host. So I'm a coach. I'm author of the best-selling Worth and Wellness Journal on Amazon, the Amazon best-selling Worth and Wellness Journal. And I'm also a blogger, a speaker, and a podcaster. So episode 37 of Business Women Losing Weight just dropped this week. It was all about managing your mind, which was a subject we talked about in last week's masterclass. So if you attended last week's masterclass and you want to dive just a little bit deeper, I invite you to listen to this past week, episode 37 of Business Women Losing Weight, where I dive even deeper. I'm going to tell you right now, secret of the world, managing your mind is everything. All of the stuff, all of the tips, everything that I do, all of the stuff we're going to talk about today, at some point, managing your mind comes into the picture. All right? Just a little side tip. So why do I do what I do? Guys, ladies, I just firmly believe that women, we represent what? Half the population? And where are we in leadership? When women are there in leadership roles, in politics, in business, and community leaders, as we are in population, we will change the world. And unfortunately, so many of us are sacrificing ourselves just trying to stay afloat. It's going to be really hard for us to take those leadership positions and when we're sacrificing so much of ourselves, right? And taking care of you is at the heart of this. We're so laser focused on building our business. We're so laser focused on taking care of our families. We are not taking care of ourselves. Where is your oxygen mask? I'm going to help you not only put it on, I want to help you find it. Are you feeling me on this? And so women hire me, women business owners hire me to help them get back their time, which is what we're talking about today, get back some of their energy. I want to really rekindle that lust for life. Any of the people who participated in Joy Fest, you know that week was all about rekindling your lust for life, right? What brings you joy in this world? And then the end of the day, how can we live like naturally thin people who don't turn to food in order to feel better, people who don't stuff bad emotion down with food? That's the connection between the weight loss and the taking care of yourself. All right, so I have a passion. I got a heart for this. I'm all over it. I'm constantly studying, I'm constantly practicing, and then I share with you what I learn. That's why I am here. So anytime you come across something you don't understand, anytime I share something that doesn't make sense, absolutely ask me. I've mastered to my level. There's more levels above me, right? So I'm teaching you as far as I've come, and I have a lot farther that I can go. So let's do it together, all right? All right, so that's it right there, right? There's nothing in your life that you are responsible for that can be as healthy as you are, right? If you're faltering, all those other things you put ahead of you, they are faltering also. It's like the sum whole of the parts can only be the weakest. I'm mixing like 15 metaphors there, but you know what I mean? You can only be as strong as the weakest link. And we are often that weakest link because we're not taking care of us. All right, you do no good to anyone if you yourself are faltering. Are you listening to me? Are you hearing me? All right. So here's also what I do know, because this is what I did for years. I know that one more weight loss plan. That's right, Julie, preach. And y'all, don't be shy. I know there are a few others of you in the classroom right now, so please feel free to comment. Julie and I don't bite, I promise. Here's also what I know, because it's what I did for 15 years before I found life coaching. It's not another plan. We don't need another plan. I help my one-on-one clients tweak their plan, tweak the knowledge they already have, right? Like I know I've studied so many of the diets, I've studied so many of the workouts. I got certified in personal training thinking that was the key. I have the knowledge to help you tweak that, but that's not where we're faltering. It's not lack of knowledge. It's lack of time By the way, I'm slowly learning to talk with teeth trays in my mouth. I may not have braces on anymore, but now I got clear plastic trays. This is, believe it or not, the best I've spoken all week. Still a little lispy there. I know that it's not more information. I know that it's lack of time, it's lack of energy, it's lack of putting yourself above others. Because that feels icky, that feels selfish. That's what we're going to talk about. All right. So let's dive into it. We started with Joy Fest. And you can still find the Joy Fest information pinned at the top of our private Facebook group. Hi, yes, Miss Mary, are you recording this week? I'm really wanting to hear everything you have to say, but this thing called work is needing my attention. Yes, absolutely, Mary. Just so you know, I wanted to see how Friday mornings went. I can definitely tell it's a little bit more of a struggle. I think we'll go back to those kind of Thursday around lunch. But Mary, stay as long as you can. This is being recorded and the replay will absolutely come out. Thank you absolutely for asking that question. I don't advertise the replay because I want to get as many people into the classroom because it's interactive and it's your opportunity to ask me questions. But yes, all of these are always recorded, and I think there's about a week you have to watch the replay, and then the replay expires. But don't worry, I'll do it again. Don't worry, this isn't going anywhere. Just like Joy Fest, if you missed Joy Fest, you won't get some of the bonus materials, but the bulk of the work is still in the Business Women Losing Weight group on Facebook. All right, so I can even tell you right here, I'll go ahead and see, I told you this is interactive. Think, amylatta.com/BWLW tribe. That will take you right to the Facebook group. If you are not already in it, I invite you to click on that link. I don't know if it's clickable, but copy and paste that link and ask to join Business Women Losing Weight. I ask you some questions, just tell me that you were in class with us. Tiffany, yes, I am the weakest link. Holy crapola, that's an eye-opener. Yep. Your family unit, your business is only as strong as the weakest link. And often that is us. Yeah, that'll make your eyes pop open. I hope people take advantage of watching the Joy Fest videos. They are so worth the time and effort. Julie has made a huge transformation. That information is still up. And just so you know, the Joy Fest with the master classes, this is the first time I'm running them all together, and I'm taking your feedback, and I will do the whole series again in a few months. All right, but I'm taking your feedback. So I want to hear how it's working for you, how it's not working for you, what could we tweak, what could we make better? All right, I'm always learning, I'm always studying, I'm always learning, I'm always practicing, and then I'm sharing it with you. All right. So last week we talked about the 3 secrets of losing weight that had nothing to do with food. Those were managing your mind, and I made that the focus of this week's podcast. The second was show up and be seen. If you remember that, doing something that scares you every day. And I just posted something in the Business Women Losing Weight about doing something that scared me yesterday. I'm going to try to remember to post something every day. And the last was sleeping like a baby. Train yourself to fall asleep and using the same techniques that we teach babies. So there's a reason that it's sleep like a baby. That wasn't just a fun, cute turn of phrase. There was purpose. Today we're talking about time. We're already 15 minutes in, so let's go. Right now, for the couple of you that are still in the classroom with me, hi, Miss Deborah. Woo! All right, you're here. Right on time. Love it. Tell me what you believe is your number one obstacle in relation to time. Hold up, back up. The entire point of this conversation is we know we need to take time for ourselves to meal plan, and when I say meal plan, I mean plan what you're going to eat. Like, as soon as I say meal plan, I feel like people fall out of their chair like, I can't meal plan. It's really just deciding ahead of time what you're going to eat. Like, it can be vague. It can be completely detailed. Most of us have no plan. So when I say meal plan, I mean some variation of just deciding ahead of time, at least 24 hours in advance. What are you going to eat? Where's that food coming from? Do you need to go to the store? So we don't end up in the drive-thru. So having enough time to meal plan, having enough time to move your body every day. If you've paid any attention to me at all, if you're new to me, this may be new to you, but weight loss comes more from food than it does from body movement, exercise, but body movement is still imperative. actually what we're talking about is the basics of self-care. If you have not, I have an ebook, I have an e-guide called The Basics of Self-Care. If you haven't already, I invite you to review it. If you do not, drop your email address in there or contact me when you get the replay. Just hit reply and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. But those are the things that we need to be doing to take care of ourselves. Again, it's not lack of knowledge, but I know we're struggling with time to do those things, to implement those things, to manage our mind, to show up and be seen, to sleep like a baby and all of that. So what I want to know for those of you that are here with me right now, what do you believe is your major time obstacle? Like, what's the struggle that you have to implement those basics of self-care? And I'm going to take a drink. You go ahead and let me know. Is it just general lack of time? Is it too much on your to-do list? I mean, just in your own words, what is your struggle with implementing those basics of self-care? Sleep, eating right, sleep. I said sleep twice. Maybe I need more. Sleep, eating right, exercise, time with family and friends, time to spend in your little hygge nook where you can just kind of decompress, all of those things. By the way, I'm double fisting coffee and water. If I don't have to pee by the end of this, then I haven't had enough, right? All right, we're doing good on time. I'm just checking. I just realized I forgot to call the school and tell them my son was out. Ain't enough time, people. Overwhelmed with so many things to do. Preach it. Kids schedule. Yep. House stuff. Work. I'm hearing you. Sometimes I just don't know what to do for myself, even if I have the time. Yes. Right? You get time and then you're like, where do I start? Absolutely. Totally can relate to that, Mary. Julie, I struggle with making the time for planning and executing meals. My schedule is not traditional. I have time in the mornings, but work until late in the evenings. Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Mary, I'm so feeling everything that you said. Julie, I don't necessarily have an untraditional, non-traditional schedule, but I think that's pretty common too. I'm good on the sleep, but meals, oi. All right. Gotcha. Good to know. All right. So I'm going to keep that in mind. And if I don't specifically address your thing today, then I at least have that and I can incorporate that into something further. So that's why I ask is let's see if we can come up with some solutions today. And if we can't necessarily today, if what I cover doesn't help with any of that, then it's information I have to build future trainings. Okay. All right. So today I want to help you take back some of your time. Okay. So first of all, understand this. I'm going to drop a hard truth. Lean in. I'm dropping a hard truth here. You're not going to like it, but it's true. Everyone only has 24 hours in a day. I know, right? Massively successful business owners, massively successful entrepreneurs, they don't get more time. They didn't magically get an extra 4 hours in a day. Like Oprah, who admittedly is not married with children, she gets 24 hours too. Brene Brown only, I know, right? Shut up. You shut up. Brene Brown, she's got teenagers in the house. She only gets 24 hours in a day. When I don't go maybe so much national or internationally famous, when I look more in my smaller communities and I look at fellow women business owners that I meet I run into in my circles and they're just killing it. And I'm like, how are they doing it? Because they only have 24 hours a day and they're married and they've got kids and they're figuring it out too. All right. My friend Jill Farmer, who's local here in St. Louis, she actually wrote a book called There's Not Enough Time and Other Lies We Tell Ourselves. So this is actually what she completely coaches on. So this is my information, but if this is definitely a struggle, I can absolutely include a link to her Facebook page because she's just, first of all, she's a beautiful human being. She's also trained in the same coaching methods that I'm trained in. And she does all the managing your mind stuff too. I know, did you know that was a secret? So first and foremost, we're simply overbooking our time, okay? So here are my 3 tactics for that. Essentially, we're just overbooking our time. And then, as Mary said, we're so overwhelmed with that when we get a little chunk of time, we don't know what to do with it because there's so much to do. We don't know where to start. It's typically where we shut down. It's typically when we go on Facebook. It's typically when we go into the kitchen to look for something to do. I don't know what to do. Maybe the answer lies in this bag of Oreos. I mean, I don't know. Anybody else ever experienced that? Just me? By the way, seriously spitting all over the place. You are so welcome. Yep, that's me, right? Oh my gosh. How many times have I thought the answers were in the pantry? So first and foremost, my three secrets are just this. I call it the triple D. The 3 Ds. I'm not talking about boobs. However, if you need a good bra and you have a triple D, I have a girl for you. Her name's Carla. She's amazing. She's another woman business owner. She makes custom made, absolutely gorgeous bras. I'm just telling you, but we're not talking about boobies, promise. I don't think any men are registered for this, but if you are, you're welcome. All right, so the first secret to getting back more time. Did you know you don't have to do it all? I'm gonna let that sink in for a moment. Yeah, you don't. There is no rule that says mom, that says the woman, that says the main lady in charge has to actually do it all. And I'm gonna get honest with you here, and I'm gonna get really honest right here. Sorry, I was up early with the pukey kid, so I'm just chugging some coffee right now, right? We're making it work. There is something legitimately, and I believe it's episode 2 of my podcast. There's something very legitimate about mental load. And I do believe this is a problem in that women take, even if we're not executing the work, we do take the mental responsibility of all of those things. There's a whole, I don't want to say movement, but idea, lots of articles written about mental load. I did a podcast on it. I do believe it's very real. It's like my husband who says, if you just tell me what to do, I will take it off your plate. But then I still have the mental responsibility for that, right? And we are working on this. So when I share these details, when I share these suggestions, I am absolutely acknowledging that is a larger thing, that we can get stuff off of our to-do list, but there's still that mental pull. And I'm learning about that too. Okay. But it is mental. It is still mentally in our mind. All right. So first and foremost is delegate. We don't have to do everything. So I want you to think about some things. I need to remember to turn notifications off. All right. Everything's good. Those are just random text messages popping up on my screen. So delegate. Outsource. All right. We're talking about other team members in your business. We're talking about virtual assistants. We're talking about online business managers. For me, for my podcast, I hired a producer. So the first 12 episodes of Business Women Losing Weight, I recorded, I edited, I produced, I put up onto the server and got it out there. After 12 episodes, I realized I can do it. It doesn't mean I should. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Everybody, repeat that. Just because I can do everything doesn't mean that I should. Yes, there's some hard truth. I have a marketing background. I have a 10-year marketing or corporate marketing career. I can do graphic design. I can copyright. I'm very adept at technology. My best subjects in college were accounting. I'm very good with numbers. I used to be a photo shoot producer. My whole background was budgets and plans and execution and all of that. But as a woman business owner, I can't, even though I can take on all of those tasks, that's no longer my job. My job is to be the best damn life coach there is. My job is not to do my own bookkeeping, which I'm still doing, and I need to outsource that. My job is not as podcast editor and producer. My job is not as, there's a lot of things that I can outsource. So can you think of anything right now? Right now, we're just talking about business. We'll get to your family. Can you think of anything right now that you either already have outsourced or that you know you need to? The best tip that I got on this is don't outsource what makes you money. Outsource the things that you do that's not money making, because your job as a business owner is to generate revenue, right? So what are you doing during your day? If you can think of anything that you're doing during your day or during your week or during your month that is not your job, and I just gave you some ideas. I have the ability to do all that stuff, but my job is as a life coach. My job is the podcaster, the creating the content. I could even outsource that at some point, but that's something I want to hold on to still. Creating my own content, getting it out into the world, and working one-on-one with clients, doing sales calls. That's my job. All that other stuff is not. So do you guys have anything that you can think of that you can delegate and outsource? We can, accounting, and I'm going to do some abbreviating, marketing, list management. If you have HR needs, I do not. I'm self-employed. I'm a solopreneur still. You guys think of anything else like that, you can think of outsourcing to either another team member or a spouse. Here's the thing about delegating, particularly in business, is trust among you and the person that you're delegating to. But I guarantee you there are tasks that you are trying to cram into your workday that you don't have to do. I guarantee if you look for them, you'll find them. Now, what about your life? What can you delegate in your life? I'm going to share a mental load home delegation. I recently turned laundry over to the husband. By the way, it hasn't gone without a hiccup, people. The pants I wore yesterday were a little extra tight because he doesn't read labels. He's learning. He has washed and dried all of my bras in the dryer. I have to remind him every week, don't put my bras in the dryer. We're still working on the mental load part of it, but I recently took over laundry. So think about who you live with. Children. You guys coming up with any other ideas? So think about the things at home that take up your time that you do. All right. So some of the things that I've tested recently is delegating chores. So chore charts. Your kids are a toddler, they can help. They can start a toddler. No, I wouldn't give them a knife. I wouldn't give them a butcher knife to chop up the onions or anything like that, but they can help with some food preparation. They can help with some cleaning around the house. So chores, laundry. Have you guys tried grocery delivery? By the way, one of the paradoxes of meal planning, here's a paradox here. That's my new favorite word. I've been listening to a lot of Brene Brown. If you meal plan, you can come up with a basic meal plan that you execute pretty much week in and week out with maybe a few variations. It takes about 15 minutes up front, and then you basically just execute a basic plan. It saves you so much time if you do the time up ahead. That's the irony, right? Walmart, you can order your groceries online and then you can go pick them up. Instacart, if you have the financial means, there's lots of grocery deliveries out there. Instacart in my area does Costco and it does Shop and Save. Does not do Target and Aldi, which I really need them to. It is Costco, Shop and Save, and Schnucks. A couple of those stores are local to the St. Louis area. Do you guys have any other ideas in your day of things that you do that you can outsource? Think of your children. Think about, it's really interesting. When I think about it, I was talking to Trey's stepmom last weekend. She grew up on a farm, and she talked about from like 4, 5, 6 years old, she was helping her family to run a farm. And how much we've kind of lost that. I remember 8, 9, 10 years old, on Saturday mornings, my mom and I would clean the house together. Did I do it probably perfectly? Probably not. But the delegation of those tasks took so much off of her, right? Just like I recently delegated laundry to my husband. It's not gone without a hitch, but he's learning. A lot of delegation, we want to know the mind management of this, is being willing to let go. Can I get a show of hands and ask who here has trouble with letting go? It's okay, you can be honest. When I let go of laundry, I needed to do it for my sanity, but it has required me to do some managing of my mind. I told you that's going to come up over and over again. That it's okay if it's not done perfectly. It's okay if my husband loads the dishwasher like he was born in a barn. You don't stack plates like that. They go in. You don't just put them in there willy-nilly. Right? That my husband, he has actually sorted laundry by tops and bottoms. What are you doing? You don't do tops and bottoms. Julie, that's awesome. Julie's like, no, I'm already on board. She's like, I'm good. Yes, my husband took over laundry. It's so hard to just turn my head. You sound like my husband. That's awesome. Now, interesting. I know this isn't everybody's thing. In my sister's household, and my sister's 12 years younger than me, but she's a full-time working mom. Her husband works full-time and he works a second shift. They have a young toddler. My niece is 3. And if it weren't for my precious, precious brother-in-law, they would be, none of this stuff would be getting done. It's not my sister's forte. It's always been Jake's tasks to do all of these things. Yes. So anything that you can think of that you do, remember, keep in mind the whole purpose in all of this is we've convinced ourselves that we don't have enough time to take care of ourselves. So what are the things that you do that are not your zone of excellence? I just brought in an entirely different concept, your zone of excellence, those things that are not what you are absolutely amazing at doing, that you are spending your time doing, that someone else in your circle could take over for you if you are willing to let go. You feeling me? If you have any other ideas, and again, like Julie said, she's like, no, I'm great. He's doing it. I'm fantastic. Others of us don't want to let go of these chores. Allowing my children to help clean the house, there's lots of deep breathing going on here because it's not done the way that I want it to be done. But I've let that go because it's cleaner than it was before they started, usually. The bathroom toilet area, we still have a lot to work on, but I do have 2 boys who apparently I don't know what's up with that. I have a guy come mow the yard. Yes, lets me do other things. Fantastic. Yard work. Yard work is an excellent one. So yard work. And again, if you love gardening, if yard work is your jam, if yard work is one of your methods of self-care, for my mother-in-law it is, she would never give up yard work. My husband refuses to outsource yard work because he actually loves the solitude of mowing our 0.6 acres. He loves putting on his headphones and his big floppy hat and he just zones out, and that's part of his self-care. He will never outsource that. For me, you couldn't get rid of it fast enough. I would hire a whole gardening team before I would take care of the yard. It's just not my forte. So again, that's why you have to find what's your thing, right? Sometimes I want to leave a little bit of cleaning to myself because I actually can find cleaning therapeutic. I'm realizing that I delegate well, but I still say I don't have time. So obviously I need to let go some of the things to make space for what's more important. Fantastic realization, Julie. Yeah, you don't seem like someone who has a hard time delegating. Maybe there's some other stuff though. Maybe it is more mind management. It's possible there's more mind management that you need to do there. Like, what aren't you letting go of? Like physically or mentally, that's still convincing yourself that you don't have enough time. That would be really fascinating. Deborah loves gardening. It's mowing. Exactly. I'm with you, Deborah. When my teen leaves home, I'll probably have to pay somebody. No, you shut up, Miss Julie. So again, this is an opportunity for you to think about, like over the next 3-4 days, Think about the tasks that you do in your business. Think about the tasks that you do around the house. If you have children and they have tons and tons, Mary was saying that children and their schedules, preach it. I got 2 boys in sports at the same time. Last spring, we tried 2 sports for each boy at the same time. And holy Mother Mary. I was like, we can't do this again. Between practices and games, 2 kids. Friends, do you know that there are other parents in your circle driving to and from the same events? That's where you manage your mind a little bit and reach out to people that you may not know and say, hey, maybe we could coordinate. Let's get our text. Let's get that. Excuse me, let's get our phone numbers exchanged. That's what I'm trying to say, so that we can coordinate a schedule here. Like, lean on your community. So if you think of anything else with delegation, then let's move on to the next one. This one is not quite as easy because my mind's first instinct when I talk about delaying things is I'm procrastinating. That's not what I'm talking about. Delay. This is not from a procrastination stance. This is not put off till tomorrow what you could do today. All right. This is, what are you doing today that doesn't really need to be done today, that's preventing you from taking care of you? You see? See what I mean? Sometimes I'll plow ahead on a project that I don't really need to plow ahead on a project on when I should be starting a bedtime routine and getting ready for bed. When I should be, I get started on a project, it's not due for another week or 2, and I'm not stopping and I'm not adhering to my time blocks, and I'm pushing into family time, or I'm pushing into making dinner time, or I'm pushing into time that I've set off for a break. That's what I'm talking about with delay. It's a little bit bigger. It's probably, of the 3 that I'm going to teach or share with you today, it's probably the one that my clients kind of go, I'm not sure. Here's the interesting thing. You know it when it's happening though. Okay, so the idea here is doing things you don't need to do today in place of taking care of you. Okay, so I really focus on what am I doing today that means that you're sacrificing your care, that you don't have to do today. Is anything coming up for you guys? Is there anything obvious for you? We'd love to hear if anything. So I gave you an example. So for instance, I really want to stop working every day by 4 p.m. Everybody's home by 4 p.m. That gives me a chance to wind down. I have an alarm on my phone. Gives me a chance to wind down and wrap up. But I will frequently start a new project that I don't need until like later in the week. And I don't know what that is about my mind. It's a managing your mind thing. But there are things that are on your calendar today, or that you insist on doing, that you don't need to do right now. I have one that I'm sure we all do. Or any social media, right? Delay is also kind of related to first things first, right? What things are you going to spend time on that you don't need to spend time on that are important to you, but you got to take care of yourself first? This one comes up for me often. I would love to hear, are you grasping this one? Is this one making sense? Are you having trouble with it? I would love to hear your feedback. And like I said, for me, I normally notice it when I'm doing it. They're not as obvious as delegate, and they're not as obvious as the next one. They're a little bit more vague because it's still something you want to do or need to do. It's just that it's preventing you from taking care of you in the moment. You can come up with any other ideas. So Facebook, starting a future project. That's terrible, terrible writing. I'm trying to think. I just did something this week. Facebook, playing games. Hi, Miss Alicia. Netflix binging. That's a good one, right? So here's the thing. It's not that those things, you need to delegate them. And I haven't gotten to point number 3. And you don't need to, It's delete. We'll get there. You don't need to omit them, but maybe you're putting them ahead of things that you should be doing that is taking care of you. So Netflix, work-related is like starting future projects. I'm trying to think of something. I just did something this week. I needed to wrap up my day. And instead, I decided to start researching something. And I can't remember what it is. But I literally was like, Amy, you don't have to do this right now. It's 4 o'clock. Everybody's home. It's time to start looking at dinner. Stop what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin. And I can't remember what it was. It was researching some sort of project. I decided to go down the rabbit hole of research. So research is a big one, right? By the way, research, that is a great thing to outsource. Netflix business, playing games. So just be aware of these things you don't need to delegate them necessarily. Research is a gray area you can delegate. They are things you want to do. You don't need to get rid of them altogether, but you're putting them ahead of taking care of you. Facebook, starting a future project. I just call them rabbit holes. So be mindful of your rabbit holes. Now, typically, this is also a mind management thing, right? This is also a mind management thing. Why would you put stuff that you don't need to do ahead of your own self-care? Right? So in delegation, we're talking about the ability to let go. In delaying, we're talking about what are we avoiding? Why are we not putting ourselves above stuff that we don't need to do right now? And that's more of a self-worth and a self-belief issue. I don't know if you noticed, lots of room for coaching in here, right? Lots of room for coaching. You need to let go. Lots of room for coaching. Why you put the rabbit holes of your life ahead of taking care of you, right? So just being aware that that's what you're doing is so key, so key. Miss Julie, staying on task and on schedule can be tough, especially if I'm tired, if I've had a migraine. I fall into the avoidance rabbit hole. Yes, typically we're avoiding something, which is really interesting because self-care should feel wonderful and it should feel good. So why are we avoiding it? It's typically a self-worth issue going on there. Typically, that's what that is. And again, huge area for coaching, but so many of us aren't even aware that we're doing it. And that's really what this is just finding those rabbit holes. I think this is the first time I've ever phrased it this way, and I really do like that. Delaying the rabbit holes of our life, right? It's not that these things are bad at all. In fact, they are a perfectly lovely part of a normal life. It's that we put them ahead of taking care of ourselves, all right? Last one. I already kind of gave it away. The last D is delete. What are you doing? You just don't even got to be doing. Like no one needs to be doing. What do you do that you just don't even need to do? Some of this can be delegation. Some of this, and I don't know if you noticed, but these triple Ds, there's a little bit of overlap in them, right? But there is some stuff we commit to that we just don't even need to be doing. So I like here, this is where I talk a lot with my clients about top 3 priorities. It's really good to know what your priorities are at any given time. And we might have seasonal priorities and we might have daily priorities, right? But knowing every day what your top priorities are, and if it doesn't meet those. So for instance, right now I am in a business growth period. I'm going to give you an example of how I deleted something from my life. I've been in a business growth period. I'm trying to be business owner, solopreneur, mom, wife. Last year we moved. Last year I had a major death in the family in which I was the primary caregiver. I had to cut out book club. I've been in a book club since I was pregnant with my now 9-year-old. So that would be 10 years. These are my girls, first Friday of every month. And one person was really upset when I RSVP'd no for the entire year. Like last March, I just RSVP'd no for the entire year. And she was like, how do you know you can't come to any of them? And I had to I gotta say no right now. Because my top 3 priorities for 2017 were not, book club didn't make it. Do I love it? Do I enjoy it? Yes. But there's only so much of me. It's going to sound ridiculous, but there's only so much of me to go around. And I was aware that I would be sacrificing something else in order to do that. And last year, at least, I wasn't willing to. Now, because of Joy Fest, I realized, you want to know what? I'm in more of a flow. We're not moving this year. I don't have a sick elderly grandparent. Every yes has a no. Every no has a yes. Oh, yeah. You're having to say no to something every time you say yes. And you're saying yes to something every time you say no. I want to encourage you to say no. So it really helps to know every day, you might have top 3 priorities for the month, for the season, for the year. It kind of depends. Only you know, right? But knowing what they are. And last year, the only social, I still got out, but it was time with, I made the priority. If it was time with my husband, then it's a yes. If it's time without my husband, then it's probably going to be a no, because there wasn't that much social time for me last year. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Just because of Joy Fest, I decided, you know what? I probably can't read the book. I still don't have time for pleasure reading because the stacks of other books. But I'd still like to, I'm going to go hang out with my girls at least a couple times this year because I miss them and I do love them. This isn't denying myself pleasure. Be really clear what I'm saying here. I'm not denying myself pleasure. I'm denying spreading myself too thin, right? There are only 24 hours in the day. And if I'm trying to build my business and I'm taking lots of training and I'm reading a ton of business books and it's still trying to be the best mom, and I had those extraordinary life events in there also, right? Then something's got to give. And it doesn't have to be me. Unfortunately, for last year, there's one example where I said no to that. I also quit volunteering at school. That was so hard because for my first son, I volunteered for everything. I volunteered for everything with my first son. My second son, I can't. I can't do it. I can't coordinate the party. I will show up for the party and I will be there and I will help, but I can no longer help plan, right? That's a decision that I had to make. I didn't always say that saying no was easy, but it's imperative. So, knowing what your top priorities are, being comfortable saying no. There's another, that's a managing your mind thing. So remember, with delegate, it was being comfortable to let go. Delaying, it was being willing to put your self-care and believing you are worth that time rather than zoning out down rabbit holes. And under delegation is not being worried about what other people think. Sorry, deletion. Sorry. When we're talking about deleting, when we're talking about telling people no, the coaching thing there is being okay of what other people think of you. My friend, when I said I was no longer going to attend book club for the rest of the year, she actually said, most people aren't thinking what you think they are, but there's that one time out of 10 that they are, and she actually did. And she called me on it, and I had to still be okay that she was going to be upset with me that I was saying no, but it was okay. We're still friends. She's super happy that I'm going to try to come back for a few of them this year. I still love her, right? But I have to take care of me. So are there any other things? Oh, so here we go. Here's my coaching tip on this. What are your top 3 priorities? And what are you spending time on? A time log. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. So top 3 priorities. And then if only for a week, a couple days, do a time log. Know what you're spending your time on? And then compare the two. Compare the two. All right? What are your top priorities? What are you spending your time on? If they aren't in alignment, adjust accordingly. So if you're spending a ton of time volunteering at school and doing parent things, and that's not necessarily in your top 3 priorities, then start saying no. Maybe that is in your top 3 priorities. So is there anything you guys can think of right now that you are saying yes to that you really do need to say no to? My friend, this is along the lines of what Julie just said. One of my best friends called it, and I think this is from a book, but I don't remember. It's your best yes, which is related to the every yes has a no and every no has a yes. Yeah. What's your best yes at any given time? Can you guys think of anything that you need to delete? I shared two. I shared one social activity that I had to temporarily put on hold for a year. I shared I'm no longer a volunteer in my kids' school, even though I was a volunteer for the first 5 years. That was a big one right there. I was room mom for my first kid. Second kid, not so much. Can you guys think of anything else? I will say yes to anything that involves live music with my husband. That, we did a ton more of that. Because I said no to some of the smaller things that I did without my husband, we said yes to a lot more stuff that was more in alignment with what we want. Live music with my husband is one of my favorite things in the world. So I said no to a lot more of my individual friends. And again, that was just a temporary decision that I made. I was able to spend more time doing something I really love with my most important friend in the entire world, right? And I still talk on the phone and, it's not, I still have occasional lunches and that kind of thing with my other girlfriends. I really want to be clear that I'm not like shunning my friends. But what's in alignment with my top 3 priorities? So social events, volunteering. That was another one that I did. I had volunteered myself for a committee. It was for a networking group that was throwing a fundraiser. And at the beginning of the year, I had volunteered myself to be on the committee for the fundraiser. And by the end of the year, I was like, why did I do this? And I ended up stepping down. It all comes down to tell people no. Okay. How y'all feeling about that one? That make you uncomfortable? Don't worry, it only took me 43 years to learn to say no. Right? And so do you see the difference between these types of things, deletion, as opposed to, delaying the rabbit holes and delegating some things? Like, this is flat out saying, I don't have time for this in my life right now. And it has nothing to do with the other person that's asking and everything to do with you. For some people, some of the housework stuff. I have a dear friend that's building her business and she just decided she doesn't need a clean house right now. That wasn't for me. I delegated that instead. I delegated that to the rest of my family, and it's now a family chore instead of a mom chore or an Amy chore. I know other people that they just let that go. I have another friend that her and her family, they let yard work go. So, they have one person come that they don't worry about flowers and gardens and all that other stuff. There's so many, like what I might delete, you might delay, someone else might delegate. It's all depending on what's important to you. It's all depending on your priorities. All right. So then again, great room right there for coaching. It's even helping to figure out what your priorities are. So I want you to think about, what can you delegate? What can you delay? And what can you delete? Julie says, I made a commitment to my daughter to make all of her swim meets for her senior year. It meant saying no, to other fun and interesting things for about 5 months. It was so worth it. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here's the interesting thing. I had to say no to some of my friends, but my husband and I had some of the best experiences of our life last year because we made purposeful time for it. We made that a priority in our marriage. Because I'm going to tell you, for my married women business owners, that sometimes owning a business, running a business, managing a business can be taxing on a marriage. It's pulling you away, right? So I had to make time with my husband a priority. Commit to your family the same way you commit to a client. Yeah. Absolutely. There's been times where I have had to say no to my family, but I have had to moderate that too. I've missed out maybe on a couple of, I try not to miss out too much, but sometimes I know that there was actually something very recently where my husband, it was last Saturday, because of some deaths in the family recently. I needed to record a podcast on a certain day and I wasn't able to, and it fell on a Saturday afternoon. My husband wanted all of us to go out and go to Dave & Buster's. And I politely declined and said, you know what, why don't you have a day date with the boys? And I'm going to stay here and I'm going to write and record the podcast I didn't get to do earlier this week. And then I don't have to go to Dave & Buster's, which sounds like the third ring of hell. I don't know. It's not the fifth ring. That would be Chuck E. Cheese. On a Saturday? Are you crazy? And then he came home and he was like, oh my God, it was chaos. I was like, really? Tell me all about it. Yeah, I know. So lots of things here. Learning how to say no and checking your people pleasing comes in all of this. When you're delegating things, it's possible you're going to have to face your people pleaser. When you are delaying things, if it involves other people, it's possible that you're going to need to, like rescheduling dates, rescheduling things. I've had to do a lot of that in the past year also, where I've made plans and there's only so much of me to go around, and that plan was not a smart plan when I said yes. I don't want to delete it altogether, but I might need to delay it. There's another delay example, and that you really had to check your people pleaser. So much room for coaching in here, right? But we can see the things that we can do, and then there's the opportunity for coaching. So if you're feeling like that's something you need more help on, I do invite you to schedule a free coaching call with me. All right, guys. So I understand that not everybody can coach one-on-one with me, and I totally invite you to stay around, sign up for all the free trainings I do, listen to the podcast, join the community. But if you feel like coaching could help you, I invite you into a free session with me. All right. It's 30 minutes. It's absolutely free. It's a no-brainer. It's just like any of my free trainings. And what the major thing that I do after I talked to my friend Shayla, she really was very impressed with I didn't want to just talk about like, so what are you eating? Let's change that. Like, what's going on with you? So much of this is personal, right? What works for you may not work for me, may not work for Julie. Julie has no problem delegating. It took me a long time to start delegating, right? So let me help you find the solutions that work for you. Everything I do is individual to you. It's not like I have like a set coaching plan and I hand it to you and then we just meet every week. I really do figure out what your needs are with you and help you. By the way, the difference between a coach and a consultant or a trainer is I don't tell you what to do. I help you figure out what to do. I know. It's a real kick in the pants sometimes. It's called emotional responsibility, my friends. And it's what I love. It's what I love so, so much. And it's funny because when I first was introduced to life coaching, it kind of scared me. I was like, I don't know if I want someone to go around in my brain. But that's not really what this is. It's actually just holding up a mirror to you and helping you see how you've overscheduled your time because you're so worried of what people are going to think if you say no. How you have overscheduled your time because you're afraid of letting go of responsibility and control of something that you don't need to have responsibility and control of anymore. And that's what coaching can help you on, is working through that managing your mind part, right? If on the other side of coaching is freedom from all that stuff in your head, it's so worth it. I didn't say it's not going to be uncomfortable, but oh my gosh, it's so worth it. Absolutely, absolutely. Jessica said after our call that she had so much clarity. Good gravy. This is what my coach does for me. Coaches have coaches. I have a life coach. Dudes, lady dudes. I'm not figuring this out on my own. By the way, the school's calling me right now. Where's your kid? He's not at school. I knew it would come by 10 o'clock. I have a coach. I have somebody who helps me hold up the mirror, that helps me show clarity. If you've been following me for a long time and you've seen the change in me, that has come because I hired a coach. So I just invite you to join me. Go to amylatta.com/coaching and you can sign up for a free mini session. I have room for, let's say, 4 more clients this month, okay? one of those spots can be yours. I just signed a new client last week. We're doing fantastic. I still have room for 4 more. I would love to see if we'd be a great fit. All right, guys, so that's 1 hour. Now, do you want to know about the next class? We have one more free masterclass. I do not have the sign-up page set up. I was going to do that this morning, and instead I tended to a pukey kid. So by the time you get the replay email, the page will be ready for you to register. All right? So 3 secrets to losing weight. We're finally going to talk about food without changing what you eat. The first, the Joy Fest, and well, Joy Fest touched a little bit on the actual eating. Joy Fest, 3 secrets that have nothing to do with food, 3 secrets about time. Next week, we are actually going to talk about how you eat, because how you eat is so much more important than even what you eat. My one-on-one clients and I, we absolutely address what they're eating, but you can already start to make changes. You can already start to feel better. We've talked about time. We've talked about making yourself a priority. We've talked about joy. Let's talk about how you're eating. So 3 secrets to losing weight without having to change what you eat. That's next week. It's going to be Thursday, March 8th at 11 a.m. We're going to talk about eating. We're going to talk about food, just not in a way that you're used to. All right. And you will get, it's going to be the same sign-up link, amylatta.com/3 secrets. So hit it up in probably the next hour or so. I did want to have it ready for you guys by the end of this recording, but I needed to attend to a sick kiddo. Priorities and practicing what I preach at all times. All right. So that class is next Thursday, March 8th. We're going back to Thursday at 11 a.m. All right, let's give that a try again. That will come right around your lunch break, hopefully. So I'll see you next Thursday for the last masterclass in the series, the last free training for a little while. So sign up while you can. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so stinking much. So stinking much. All right, guys, I will see you later. Now my husband's texting me. Is Ryan homesick today? Yes, he is. You are welcome, Julie. Thank you so much, Julie, for being here. By the way, Julie, guys, she has taken the information from JoyFest and run with it. I absolutely love it. You're welcome, Deborah. I can't wait to see you guys in next week's masterclass. I appreciate you all so much.